How the narcissist justifies their evil behavior. You're not going to want to miss this one. I think this is really going to shed some light on some things because I feel like part of it is a bit of an epiphany for me as well. I want to share it with you guys. I love this verse in Isaiah. It's Isaiah 5:20 because it describes so much about the way the world actually works and the nature of evil, the nature of wicked people. Here's what he says in 5:20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. That is such an important thing. And yes, Isaiah was dealing with this in his day, and all generations and out throughout history have dealt with wicked, perverse people. We now live in what I think is the last days, and we live in a time that is particularly perverse and wicked and evil, where people truly do just whatever is right in their own minds, whatever is good for them. They operate out of, this is for another video I want to do, but they operate at all times out of pure selfishness. The narcissist does, and most people do today. It is 100% about me all the time, every step of the way. And that is literally like they work with blinders on because they are the center of the universe. Everything they do is about themselves. But this is the nature of the narcissist. And you better believe the narcissist does justify their evil behavior. They justify this, or I should at least say, feel justified in what they do. A lot of people think that every single thing the narcissist does, and I used to be this way too, so this is very important. We think that the narcissist sits back with a clear mind. They know good and evil. They know right from wrong purely, thoroughly. They get it the way we do. They see the world in this crystal clear way, and they sit back and just premeditate and plot and scheme every single thing they do, knowing it's perverse and knowing it's evil every time. And I think that for some of us, it's crucial that we believe that because some part of us wants so badly to think that the narcissist must just clearly, intentionally do every single thing they do. It somehow makes us feel better about the treachery that we went through. I think it gives us something to really thoroughly blame. It gives us some sort of peace in knowing that this person did willingly cause evil things, all the steps. They're just that bad. And they are that bad. But this is so don't ever hear me saying that the narcissist doesn't intentionally do evil things to people because they do. But it's way more complicated than that. It's way more complicated than that. And this is exactly what I'm getting at. They believe good is evil and evil is good. They have an absolutely inverted understanding of reality. It's twisted. It's inverted. It's the opposite of clear. It's not logical. It's not rational. It's not on par with reality. The narcissist does not live in reality, right? Like we can acknowledge that. But then when we actually play this out, it makes people uncomfortable. Because again, they have to think that, oh, they just plotted and schemed and knew every step they took was wicked and did it anyway. Not quite the reality of it. It is and it isn't. Look, if you think the nature of evil is easy to explain and easy to understand, it's not. Evil is the most mysterious, odd, unsettling, incomprehensible thing that there is. It doesn't fit nice and neat and tidy into some little box of explanation. Evil is anything but that. Evil is complex and complicated. And this whole warped worldview of the narcissist is just that. They think evil is good and they think good is evil. So I'll give you an example of this. It's not for this video, but there is a force that runs this world, okay? An evil power structure. And it is called Freemasonry. And I've done so much work on Freemasonry, see my blogs, see my video, System of the Beast on another platform that begins with R and ends with mble. If you get what I'm saying, sounds like the cookie place Crumble. System of the Beast. I go into so much detail about this, and also, but here's my point. In Masonic lodges, which are basically the devil's churches, hidden in plain sight. You have to be a Mason to basically do anything of note in this world. All our celebrities, all our world leaders, yes, every politician, yes, your favorite presidents, yes, they're all part of it. And they create this appearance that it's left versus right and good versus evil, when in fact they're all part of this greater structure. It's like two heads that feed the same body. That's the truth. That's the truth. I just hit you with a lot of stuff. I get it, but here's the point. Within lodges, there is a checkerboard floor. It's black and it's white. It's yin and it's yang. It's good and it's evil. And in Masonic thought, which is satanic thought, which describes any evil, wicked person, basically, like the narcissist, which I'm getting to, good and evil are inverted. They intermingle. In Masonry, Freemasonry, Yahweh is God and Lucifer is God. They're both God. They're both deity. Good and evil, this yin and yang sort of thing. And basically what ends up happening is, in all of their worldview, good and evil are mixed and blended and even inverted. That's the nature of evil. Why do you think Satan masquerades as an angel of light? Why does evil incarnate, the devil, why does he pretend to be good? Why does he appear to be good? Why do his servants appear to be servants of righteousness? This is all cloak and dagger. This is all supposed to be mysterious. It's supposed to be camouflaging. When you blend good and evil together, then you basically get everybody trapped. That's what Freemasonry is about. They don't hide their lies like most people do. They hide their truths. Everything is subverted. That's the nature of evil. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Woe to those who put darkness for light and light for darkness. This is what this is all about, guys. This speaks to the nature of evil itself, and thus it speaks exactly to the nature of the narcissist. I know I'm going way deep on this one, but I hope you're tracking with me. We think, let's pull it back to this exact situation. We think the narcissist sits back and they evaluate the world the way that you and I do. The way a normal, healthy, rational, logical, caring, loving person would evaluate the world. They don't. They don't sit there and think about things the way that you and I think about them. So when they do things to us and to other people, we see that in a very particular way, a very cut and dried way. We perceive when someone's doing something evil. We know it's evil. We call it evil. We don't call evil good. We call evil evil. The narcissist does not do that. So you cannot think in your mind that you are with this person or you're observing these people who view the world the same way you do and just choose over and over to do this terribly, horribly wicked thing. Now I'm going to get to, at the end, it doesn't get them off the hook, because I'll tell you at the end why this is the case. They're culpable, thoroughly culpable. Don't get it warped. But the narcissist thinks that the things they do are justified. The things they do to you and others that are evil, they think they're actually good things to do, because that's the nature of a warped, delusional mind. That's evil. So, as some examples, the narcissist cheats. Every narcissist who can cheat will cheat, in my opinion. And if not physically, then certainly over text, certainly over dating apps, certainly in myriad ways. But they think in their warped mind, because of their evil disposition, they believe that they're thoroughly justified in their cheating. They think they should be doing it. They believe that because they think that everybody operates the same way. They think that everybody sees the world the way that they do, which is a mistake we make when we think the narcissist sees the world the way we do. People of the light and people of the darkness do not perceive reality the same way. Do you understand that? That that might have just been like the pivotal point of the video that you just have to grasp. A person of the light, a person on the narrow path, a person of the Lord does not perceive reality the same way that a person of the darkness does. The narcissist thinks that everyone sees the world the way that they do. Our mistake with the narcissist is thinking everyone sees the world the way we do, because they don't. That's a big part of the disconnect. It's a big, big part of the disconnect of why it's so difficult for us to wrap our minds around it. We're expecting a person to operate the way we would. The narcissist might cheat, probably will cheat, probably did cheat. And the reason why they did it, there could be myriad reasons. But in their mind, whatever the case is, they were justified for doing it. They knew it was cheating, but it was good for them to cheat because in their minds, like I said, everyone does the same things they do. So, well, you're cheating. Everybody's getting over on everybody. So, of course, the person I'm with is talking to other people or cheating or doing something, of course. So, I need to keep pace with that. It's okay that I cheat because they absolutely must be doing the same things. They must be cheaters. Therefore, it's fine if I did it. Or, this person isn't giving me exactly what I want. They're not holding up their end of the bargain in this relationship. And the narcissist is delusional and thinks that basically you should be utterly perfect, spotless, unblemished across the board. You should also give them every single thing that they want. And if you don't, you're being a bad partner. That's what I heard over and over. And it's the way they work. You're a bad partner. You're a bad partner. Why are we all bad partners to the narcissist? Because you're not giving them every single thing at all times, 24/7, that they think they should get, which is impossible. Their expectations are literally impossible. You check 25 boxes, you ought to check 26. You check 26, then they invent a 27th. It's impossible to reach that height. But they think you ought to be, and if you fall short, which we all do, of their expectation, then they're justified to do the things they do. I cheated because he wasn't being the partner I deserve. I'm verbally abusive. I screamed, I yelled, I threw a tantrum because they weren't doing what they should be doing in this relationship. They're not who they're supposed to be. So therefore, yeah, of course I'm going to respond. Of course I'm going to scream and get upset. Or of course I'm going to go silent for a few days because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not giving me the relationship I need. They cheat because they think you're going to. They believe everyone is acting the way that they would, sees the world the way that they would. So they think you're cheating because they're cheating, which further makes them say, I'm justified in my cheating. Are you guys grasping through this video and the last one just what kind of individual you're dealing with in the narcissist? This is a highly disturbed individual that does not operate in this reality in a normal sense of the word. They have their own reality. They might say, well, I'm justified to triangulate. And I'll give you concrete examples when I can of all this stuff. I try to do that. They're justified in their triangulation. As an example, you might go to lunch with the narcissist, and you guys have followed this channel know what I'm going to say. They might sit there and be having a lunch with you and everything's fine, and then they might just look over at somebody at another table and they might give them a wink, kind of a little smirk, a little grin, and you just can't believe what you saw. But in their minds, they were probably trying to get a response from you. They were probably trying to get you revved up. Yes. But also in their minds, they're justified by what they did. For example, that happened to me. And do you know what the explanation I got for why the person did that to me was? Because a waitress the day before that called me hun and seemed to the narcissist to be too flirty with me. Was I doing anything? Absolutely nothing. But in her mind, this person called me hun and seemed to be too close to me or something. And so, therefore, I was complicit in this triangulation. And so, therefore, she's going to pay me back. And she deserves to pay me back because I did something to her. I wronged her. The narcissist, guys, they're sick. They will invent ways you wronged them when you did nothing, and then they will pay you back because now they feel justified for the thing that they've conjured in their minds that you supposedly did to them. This is a deep one, guys. I hope you're getting this. This all just occurred to me pretty powerfully this morning. I had to lay it down in video. They gaslight, they create situations because they're warped and they're messed up. They believe you did something you didn't do. They make that a reality for themselves, and then they must pay you back or get out ahead of the treachery some way, and they're justified in doing it. I'll give you another concrete example of how this plays out, and I've never shared this one before, but I'm sharing it so you guys understand. I'm sure you will resonate with this in your own way. You had a similar situation of some sort. One time I was at the narcissist house, okay? Everything was just fine. Just absolutely fine. In fact, it was going a little too well, which I'm sure was unsettling. So they have to do something, right? In her mind, the whole time, I was dealing with an ex. I was still, in her mind, I was still dealing with this ex. I was still hung up on this ex. There was not a thing of that, a shred of that was the truth. Never, never, ever. But in her mind, it was probably because she was doing things and she got to justify it. But one time I was basically completely preoccupied. I was at her house. I was doing other things. She got a hold of my phone and she went through it. I mean, went through every single bit and piece of it, I'm sure, probably for like an hour or so. Just went through all the history, every text, every single message on my social media, everything I've done. She just fine-tooth combed it, okay? What she found by our standards, by a rational person, was nothing. Yeah, I mean, like, imagine, went through my whole phone, found zero anything because I wasn't doing anything. But to her, I was. She found a random text from, um, I'm really getting, from this person that she thought I had something for, okay? That I had to communicate with this person, let's put it that way, at times, in a very superficial way. She found these texts and she conjured up this whole idea of things that were happening. Let's just leave it at that. She goes and she gets me. She throws the biggest fit you've ever seen. She literally, before we even get into it, she starts recording me. She holds her phone up and starts recording me. Okay? Because she knows this is going to be an explosion. She kicks me out of the house. She records me the entire way out. And at this point, I'm thinking, how did I get into this situation? How did I ever get involved with this thing? And I'm thinking there's going to be police that show up over nothing. She could call and report something. Who knows? Because I'm in her house, right? So she could make up some story that I was there to do anything. Who knows what? And she kicked me out of the house. And it was like one of those moments. You go home, you don't sleep at all that night, and you think, this is wacko world. How in the world did I ever get involved in any of this? This is nothing like the person I knew for months. This is like, what? This is not my life, right? Situation. Here's the thing. The next day, I figured at that point, this is finished and done. I get texts and calls the next day. Basically, the gist of it was this. All of that was my fault. All of it was my responsibility. I did everything. It was me, of course, and that I should have taken better care of the relationship. I did all of this stuff, this, that, and the other, right? All this great stuff, but I should have taken better care of the relationship. Total projection, total blame shifting, total gaslighting, all of the stuff we expect from a narcissist. Here's my point. In her mind, she was in the right. In her mind, she was justified to go through my phone because I was so suspicious. If I hadn't been so suspicious, she didn't need to go through my phone. She kicked me out because it was my fault this whole thing had happened. She punished me with silent treatment, all that, because I created this whole thing, right? It was all me. And I should have taken better care, and I should have been looking out for the relationship. Guys, this is a microcosm of what the narcissist does to all of us. These types of things. And they think they're right in what they're doing. By our standards, every single thing that that person did was evil, was corrupt, was gaslighting and manipulation and abuse. Every part of that was darkness. Okay? To them, it was light. To them, it was them doing the right thing. I had done the wrong thing. You have done the wrong thing. They're doing the right thing by their cheating, triangulation, manipulation. They're justified in every single thing they do. Do you understand that? Whatever the narcissist did to you and did to me, they thought they were right in doing it. They thought they were justified in doing it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. They live in an inverted reality. They don't live in the truth. They don't live in the real world. They live in this subverted, inverted, basically thoroughly corrupt, deceptive universe of a world. So this means that when you think every step of the way, the narcissist sat back with that clear mind, with pure intention of evil. They knew every single thing, every jot and tittle, every step they did. They sat back and methodically thought through it and processed it and said, gee, I know this is wickedness and pure evil, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sometimes that's true. A lot of the time, it's not true. It's them just acting upon their evil nature. Because they think good is bad, good is evil. They think right is wrong. They think light is darkness. That's the nature of evil. From the highest point, the devil, all the way down to the lowest of the low narcissist. The small time Joe Schmo narcissist. They all operate this way. The ones who rule this world, who run this world, the Masons, that is their whole mantra. Light and darkness, good and evil, intermingled, intertwined, inverted. That's evil. It's not a mistake that that's their mantra. It's not a mistake the devil masquerades as an angel of light. There's no mistake his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. And so, I told you I'd get to this. That might, to many people, I get what you think. You're probably saying, well, you're letting the narcissist off. If they don't intentionally sit back and plot and scheme every evil thing they're doing, then you're letting them off. You're giving them a pass. Far from it. And here's why. How do you suppose the narcissist or the devil or the Masons or anybody else, how do you suppose they got to the point that they are? How does one get to the place where they're so delusional and they actually think good and evil are inverted, where they operate from this warped mind and heart? How do you think they got to that point? By doing wickedness and doing evil. By allowing wickedness and evil to run their lives, by taking the path of darkness, by choosing to manipulate, by choosing to triangulate, by choosing to cheat, by choosing to stonewall and silent treatment, by choosing all of this stuff. They pave their way brick by brick down that path of delusion. And as the further down you go, the more you start to believe the lie. The further down you go, the more you start to see light for darkness, darkness for light, good for evil. The more you start to warp your own mind. This is fundamentally, here is the greatest point you've got to understand before I close. The narcissist doesn't operate the way we do. They're not sitting there the same way with the same worldview, with the same understanding of right and wrong and good and evil that we do, and they just operate differently all the time. They do those things which get them to a point of delusion. The narcissist you dealt with probably didn't sit back and think through every detail of everything that they ever did to you. Their evil emanates from them. They're illogical. They're frazzled. Their brains are scrambled, mush, cooked. This is why do you think we say that they're seared? Why do we talk about the reprobate narcissist? For goodness sakes, why do we all say narcissists never change? Why don't they change? What kind of person is incapable of change? The kind of person that's incapable of change is the kind of person who doesn't live in reality. They're delusional. So guys, I hope that this makes sense. I hope that you really get this, because I actually think when you come to understand just how much or how little you were dealing with a normal person, which there's not even that many normal people anymore, but you weren't dealing with somebody like yourself. They didn't see anything the way you do. They don't think of things the way you do. They don't see good and evil the way you do. And they believe that everything they do is justified in their own warped minds. And that's why they do it. And that's why they keep doing it. And that's why they'll always do it and why it never changes. So that is how the narcissist justifies their evil behavior. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Drop comments below. If you want to see more on the topic I brought up, go check out that video, System of the Beast, on Crumble minus the C. So anyway, guys, I appreciate your time as always. Hope it was useful. Drop comments below. Appreciate the new subscribers. There's been numerous. And I'll come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.